Diesel versus electric, the honest head-to-head. This is what really happens when you put diesel engines and electric powertrains side by side across the vehicles that actually matter here in North America. From Class 8 heavy-duty trucks to passenger cars, trains, and ships. A diesel Class 8 converts up to 45% of its fuel into actual work, while electric hits 90%, and yet diesel still wins half these categories. No marketing spin from either camp, just the verified numbers on cars, trucks, trains, and ships, and the reason the winner flips completely depending on what you happen to be hauling. Most of these comparisons get one thing badly wrong because they act like there's a single answer when there clearly isn't one. We're going to open with the fact that nobody argues about, work through this category by category, and then dig into the money along with the policy shakeup that landed in 2025. Efficiency belongs at the front of any honest comparison, since it's the cleanest fact in the entire debate. A diesel engine fires through compression ignition, squeezing air to extreme pressure at ratios that usually sit somewhere between 14 to 1 and 25 to 1, and that heat alone ignites the fuel without a single spark plug. That compression explains why diesel always outclassed gasoline. Here's the wall it runs into, though. Your typical automotive diesel converts only about 30 to 35% of its fuel energy into actual work, what engineers call brake thermal efficiency, or BTE, while the larger truck and bus diesels climb to roughly 42 to 45% BTE at their peak, and even the biggest low-speed marine diesels push past 50%, with the very best of them topping out at 51.7. Those record-setting numbers come out of the large two-stroke engines built by MAN Energy Solutions and Wärtsilä, the two companies that essentially define what's possible at the top end of marine diesel technology. An electric motor runs above 90%. That gap right there is the advantage electric drags into every category we're about to cover. Diesel earned its place, and the history backs that up. Rudolf Diesel fired his first working engine on August 10, 1893, over in Augsburg, and that early machine actually ran on peanut oil, which makes it the grandfather of modern biodiesel. The first diesel passenger car rolled out in 1933, the Citroën Rosalie, and that very same year Cummins dropped its first diesel engine into a Kenworth. Cummins still owns this space, holding roughly 39% of North American heavy-duty truck engines. And back in 2020, they controlled a staggering 87.3% of the Class 8 under 10-liter group. Detroit Diesel, now folded into Daimler, led the bigger 10-liter and up group at 37.8%, and you'll find those Detroit diesel powertrains most commonly under the hood of the Freightliner Cascadia, which is the single most dominant Class 8 platform on North American highways today. PACCAR, the parent company behind both Peterbilt and Kenworth, rounds out the top tier alongside Volvo Trucks and Mack, making the heavy-duty diesel ecosystem considerably deeper than most people realize. Caterpillar walked away from on-highway truck engines altogether. So where does electric genuinely compete? Passenger cars are the obvious starting point. American buyers picked up just over 1.3 million battery electric vehicles in 2024, which worked out to 8.1% of all sales, a step up from 7.8% the year before. And for the first time ever, electric and hybrid combined cracked 20% of the market. The price tag up front is the catch. That average battery electric vehicle went for around $57,000 in early 2024, sitting roughly 16 to 21% above the overall average for a new vehicle. Once it's parked in your driveway, the math shifts. The Department of Energy and Argonne National Laboratory pegs scheduled maintenance at 6.1 cents a mile for electric against 10.1 cents for a conventional engine, and Consumer Reports found that electric vehicle owners pocket about $4,600 in lifetime repairs and maintenance. Now for the part you came here for, which is heavy trucks. That production Tesla Semi carries a $290,000 price for the long-range version, while a comparable diesel Class 8 lands well under $200,000, so diesel takes the sticker price fight and takes it by a wide margin. Here's the twist nobody expects. The average zero-emission Class 8 truck runs about $435,000, which means Tesla actually undercuts the rest of the electric field by roughly $145,000. On running costs, carb figures an electric Class 8 costs about 4.7 cents a mile less to maintain than diesel, and Tesla claims operating costs that come in 20% lower across the United States. The trade-off is weight, because an electric tractor carries 4,000 to 5,000 pounds more than a diesel, and all of that eats straight into your payload. Trains and ships are where diesel still rules without much argument. Battery electric locomotives like Wabtec's FLX drive that arrived in 2023 mostly live in pilot runs and yard service, and while Union Pacific did order 20 of them, Diesel Electric still owns mainline freight outright. Workhorses like the EMD SD70 Ace and the GE ES44 AC, two of the most widely deployed diesel-electric locomotives in North America, illustrate just how entrenched that technology is. There's a detail here worth holding on to. A diesel-electric locomotive already qualifies as a hybrid because the diesel engine drives a generator that powers the electric traction motors, and rail has leaned on electric drive for nearly 100 years. The policy earthquake came next. Regulations had pushed hard toward electric for years, and that direction reversed in 2025. The federal EV tax credit, worth up to $7,500, expired on September 30th, 2025. On June 12th, Congress revoked California's Clean Air Act waivers, including Advanced Clean Cars 2, California's Advanced Clean Fleets rule, the one built specifically to target trucks, got repealed outright, and Canada paused its own federal ZEV mandate inside that same year. Worth noting alongside all of that, EPA Tier 4 emissions standards, which had already pushed diesel manufacturers to adopt SCR and diesel exhaust fluid systems, remain on the books. So the regulatory pressure on diesel didn't disappear. It just stopped accelerating toward an outright ban. The entire mandate-driven era stalled, which meant the market got handed back the wheel. Here's the honest head-to-head when all of it sits on the table. Electric wins efficiency flat out, clearing 90% against diesel's 30 to 45% brake thermal efficiency, and it takes maintenance and operating costs right along with it. Diesel wins the price up front, wins on payload, and still owns long-haul trucking, mainline rail, and ocean shipping. No single winner exists here. There's only the right tool for whatever you're actually hauling, and right now, for a whole lot of heavy work, that tool still runs on diesel.